Hi, I'm with Maciej Zaborski, who is an ICO marketing expert, and Ian Balina, who is a serial entrepreneur, and what else?
Blockchain angel investor, mainly in ICOs, author, speaker, and pretty much everything I like to joke about.
We saw your meetup last night. Why do you do it?
It's just a way to say thank you to just meet my community around the world. So after I quit my job at IBM, thanks to investing in ICOs, using tokenmetrics, I basically just want to kind of travel the world. It's always been a goal of mine. Now, during the journeys of traveling across the world, I wanted to meet my audience in all kinds of locations, just to say thank you face to face, grab a beer with them. So initially it began as a meetup. Then they got bigger and bigger until now they're a conference. So now we just kind of thought, hey, you know what, let's just make this into something really more official. So now we're going around the world, really kind of sharing my story, my journey, and just trying to evangelize the space, and then also trying to help the blockchain community in each region by having the ICO pitch competition, where projects come in and basically present to the entire region their projects, what they've been working on, and giving them a platform where now they could possibly really speak to the entire world.
What do you learn from these? Do you get anything out of them?
Absolutely. Like, for example, I'm still an investor, right? So sometimes it also gives me an edge, being able to travel to any corner of the world and find the next big ICO.
Did you find any in Budapest?
In Budapest, possibly Tolo. Right now, I'm probably won't invest at this stage, but it's definitely a decent project. Just by being here and winning my competition, they definitely got a lot more exposure worldwide. So now they're probably going to have the Ian Balina effect.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's turn to Maciej. And Maciej, I'd just like to know, what did you take out from the meeting last night? You were at Ian's meetup. So what's your feeling about that?
My biggest takeaway was his enthusiasm about his story, because he is a really made man, such a short period of time. He just made it, and he has a very good reputation, many followers, and most of the ICOs that he is dealing with, they succeed. So it's great, and it meets my criteria that my first step is the story. So when something has a good story, when an ICO has a good story that has the baseline to succeed, there's no good story, no chance to win. So
let's turn back to Ian about that. The story, I mean, Maciej is saying that for him the story is really important. I'd like to ask you about tokenmetrics, because is that a different story?
Absolutely. So tokenmetrics
explain.
is about the numbers and the data. So it's kind of similar to Moneyball, the famous book and movie, where they basically applied stats to find undervalued baseball players. So we're basically doing the same thing to ICO investing. We gather as many data points as possible and try to find patterns in the data and try to figure out what exactly the best ICOs, based from a ROI perspective, from return on investment, on how profitable they were for investors, what patterns do they have in common, which data points really mattered, which data points didn't matter. Then creating a grading system off of that and grading new ICOs to see how well they fare against the ICOs that did well and their data points.
Does that in a sense mean it doesn't matter what the subject of the ICO is?
The subject doesn't matter, although the type of ICO can matter. For example, blockchain projects, smart contract blockchain projects historically do well, because that's where the value is. They're basically building the infrastructure for all the dApps. And historically, dApps don't do so well because they're still pretty early.
Right. Let's turn back to you, Maciej. So your take is somewhat different. Can you describe where you're coming from?
well, I come from online marketing industry. I have a 15 years background. Basically, me and my team work for big and multinational companies for more than 10 years, like BMW, Lufthansa, very major players. And I shifted my focus to the crypto era, to the blockchain, because it's just the value creation here is crucial, and that's what I really like to do. For these companies that I mentioned before, they just ask you have to deliver, and that's it. They really don't interested in anything else. So, and that's why I really like his work, because value creation is part of his process, and it's part of my process as well. So, for example, the PSPS path, which is very, very important, the problem solution. So, if there is a value creation, it means that we solve kind of problems, word problems, small problems, so any kind of problem. So if there's a problem, there should be a solution in the project, and there's another problem and then another solution. So when we lead the potential investors through the PSPS path, at the end we give them the big problem and the big solution. Then it's not a yes or no question to invest or not, then it's a yes or yes question. Am I invest big or even a bigger amount? So that's why it's very important to deliver the value creation and how we solve the problem that the ICO is for.
Can you live with that?
If the tokenmetrics back it up, yes.
But you would stick with tokenmetrics?
I stick to the data, purely the data.
Right.
I'm a numbers guy.
Right. Any big tips upcoming?
Not upcoming, but just what the data says. When looking at a project on ICO, first thing you check for is the prototype. Can they actually execute? Is there something tangible? Have they shipped code? So it's not just an idea, it's just a white paper, not just a research project, something tangible. Then next thing, I check the team. It has to be a very credible team. I call them all-stars. People that have either worked for a very credible company or a very credible blockchain project in the past. And then the advisors, and then the actual numbers themselves of how much they're raising, total tokens being minted, what percentage is made available to ICO investors, all that. That then gives you one holistic grade, which you can then evaluate that project. Then you can then compare that to other projects in the past to see where it stands. So it's not just one project in a silo. You basically compare that project where it's now basically apples to apples as opposed to apples to oranges.
Right. Thank you very much. Where to next?
So Paris, France.
Paris, France.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, Paris. We're coming.
Great. Well, gentlemen, thanks for joining us for this.
Thank you for having us.
And thanks for watching.